Oh God, we're doing a podcast. What is it now, Karen? Episode 16.
Hello, and welcome back to the What Is It Now, Karen podcast. My name's Beth, and I'm with my friend Jo. We do a weekly-ish podcast talking about what's happening in the world of news, politics, social media, Facebook. See what the online Karens have to say about it. So we're on episode 16. We're having a wee drink tonight. We're both on holidays. We're on Easter holidays. And I have a warm gin and tonic, which is a bit depressing, but Joseph's looks quite nice.
I've got a delicious cold gin and tonic with ice.
Yeah,
I
was not prepared. I showed up to the podcast with water, and Joseph had other ideas.
I peer pressured her. Can you hear this ice, Bethany?
Can you hear this ice? I don't have any.
It's been a wee bit longer than usual between episodes. For some reason, we've just found ourselves, I think, both being completely knackered and not having the wherewithal to do it. But now that we're both off and energized and optimistic, we're ready to lay down some cold, hard facts.
It's funny how doing nothing is so tiring.
I know. Mama always says that. Inertia. That's inertia. Got to overcome your inertia.
Yeah.
So that you're active.
When I think of my life before the pandemic, I used to work 9 to 5, go to the cinema. I used to do tap dancing, roller disco, go to the pub. How did I fit it all in? I go to the gym.
That's it. Lots of varied extracurricular activities. Yeah. Roller disco, tap dancing, pub and cinema. You were quite a big cinema goer, You had one of these cine cards.
Yeah. I love the thought now, though, of the cinema. It's strange. It's something that, we went a couple of times a week to the cinema, and now the thought of going to the cinema is panic-inducing.
Well, even the thought when they do open of having to sit there with a mask on for 2 hours is just I don't have to smell my own breath for that long. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it work.
So I don't know. Will they have? But then, how are you going to eat the popcorn?
Yeah, that's the thing. So surely, because when you go to Cineworld, it's £10 for a tub of popcorn. So how are they going to make their revenue back if people aren't allowed to buy snacks?
Yeah, and even though I'm a regular cinema goer, I go a couple of times a week, I still have a full popcorn, nachos, sweets every time.
What are your outgoings at Cineworld? Oh my God.
Oh, well, I'll take my own sweets in.
Oh, you take them in?
Yeah.
Do you take your own nachos in?
I will, treat myself to nachos, but sweets, popcorn, I'll take my own.
Can I just say the idea of cinema nachos makes me feel physically sick? They've not just put cheese sauce out of a pump, a ketchup pump on it?
No, it's a little tub. It depends where you go. The one that I go to, the cheese sauce is a kind of nuclear orange, radioactive kind of orange colour in a tub.
Oh,
it's always a good idea at the time, and then when you get them, they're not as good as what you think they're going to be.
That I'm quite funny about cheese. I do like cheese, but that kind of thing makes me feel sick. That and things like cheese in a can and cheese strings and dairy triangles and all this kind of stuff. That just makes me feel ill.
I know what you mean. I sometimes feel that about burger cheese. The cheese.
Oh
slices.
God! They're not called cheese slices. They're just called 10 singles. And on the packaging, because they don't have enough cheese in them or enough milk or whatever in them to be called cheese. I'm glad of this annual leave because I do feel very tired and I feel like I'm getting really old looking. And I mean, I'm only 25, but we were just, before we started recording, we were just talking about that, how, we both noticed wrinkles and lines starting to appear. I feel like I have these lines around the side of my face now, the side of my mouth, as if my cheeks are about to start sagging. Not lines, because everyone's got lines here, but I mean actual wrinkles on here, around the side of my face. Disgusting. Well, not disgusting. No harm to you if you've got wrinkles, but you know what I mean. I'm not ready for this. Did I tell you I'm going grey?
Yeah, well, I've told you about my kind of marlin streak at the front of my hair, which is just like a grey patch.
But that sounds kind of sexy, like a wee streak of grey. I've just got like, I was saying this to someone, I feel like I'm wearing one of those tinsel wigs because like when I do this with my hair, every like fifth hair is grey. You can't really see it on this camera and so.
Well, that's like
But
mine.
that's,
My little patch at the front, it's like wiry and like sticks out above my own like normal hair.
do you know what I think that's so sad though? Like that, like those cells in our heads have just decided, nah, we're not doing it anymore. We're not making any more pigment. We're giving up.
Is that what happens?
This is the start of it. This is the beginning of the end. From now on, our bodies are going to actively try to kill us. This is it.
God. I wonder if this year has like prematurely aged people. Like, would we have, if we were living our lives in this whole situation never happened, situation as in COVID never happened, lockdowns, etc. Wonder, would I have had those grey hairs? Would you have had those brown, what are they called, smile lines?
I don't know. I feel like I definitely wouldn't have had the grey hairs. I do think that is work induced. I never used to have that many. I had a couple at uni, like the odd wiry one you would pull out, but now it's like streaks and streaks and streaks. It's just a bit depressing, isn't it? Anyway, I think if this whole situation hadn't happened, we'd all be out and about and too active and too happy and too busy to notice or even care. Because now we spend so much time inside. I don't know. Sometimes I take my mask off at work and I'm like, I don't even recognise that person in the mirror. Like, who is that? They've got like dark circles around their eyes and grey hair and wrinkles around their face. Anyway, a moment's silence for my youth. The listener that we described as a pre-Tory reached out to me and said that they were absolutely furious that they'd been labelled as such. So apologies to them.
Yeah, we don't have enough listeners to offend them, so sorry.
And then we were talking about, somebody else got in touch as well. You know how we were talking about me driving, like starting to learn to drive and like driving from work. So someone messaged in and said, who the F decides a good way to learn to drive is to drive home to the West End in the dark? I wish I'd been a fly on the wall in that car. I probably wouldn't have seen anything anyway because your lights weren't on. Savage, but thanks.
Yeah. I have a submission here from a listener who sent in a story about a Chinese restaurant owner hitting back. So I think this restaurant owner was just fed up of all the bad reviews that they were getting and decided to hit back. So we have one here. This review says the chicken wings were not cooked properly and expensive for what was included. And this owner replied, "Hi Joanne, please get in touch so we can arrange for you to come in and show us how to cook chicken wings properly." Someone else has left a 2-star review and the angry restaurant owner has replied, "Thank you, Tina. Let me guess. Too much food? Too hot? Too tasty? Delivered too quickly?" And we have one here as well. So Dan has left a 1-star review and the angry owner has replied, "What sort of idiot orders salt and pepper chicken and then complains it has salt in it?"
Fair enough.
Business somewhere else. And it's clearly when Karen meets Karen.
When Karen meets, what happens when unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
Yeah.
I was like, people that leave reviews, like, see if it's not 1 star or 5 stars, like they've clearly thought about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you leave 2 or 3 stars, you've like weighed up in your mind what was good and what was bad. So I would trust a 4-star review more than a 5-star review, to be honest.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because some people just smash on 5 stars, food was lovely, or like 1 star, you know, the waiter smelled like farts and my food was cold, like that kind of thing. It has to be really bad to leave a 1-star review.
Yeah. And when you have that many bad reviews, is it, maybe the food is just bad though.
But also to have the gall to come out, and you can see why, like, it's the guy's business, but also like that is just like not going to help. Like, no one's going to read that and say, "Oh, I'm going to order from there," because the guy's obviously like unhinged.
Yeah. So thanks to the listener for sending that one in.
Do you think leaving reviews is like a form of like negative reviews, like kind of like cyberbullying?
A little bit. I think we've kind of briefly spoken about reviews before. I don't leave reviews ever. I think a couple of times, but only if it's been like exceptional service. They've gone above and beyond and gave me a foot massage while I was eating my dinner. Like, I just can't be bothered.
Actually, that point about cyberbullying brings me on to something. A little birdie told me that that you once engaged in cyberbullying, Bethany.
I'm nervous about this. Go on.
Did you once make a Facebook page called "I brush my hair"? Just kidding. I'm Katie. Something from the X Factor.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. So this would have been. I've totally forgotten about that. That has just like sparked a memory that I didn't know was there. Flashback. So this was the girl on X Factor. Oh god, I feel really bad now.
What was her name? Katie Weasel.
It might be Katie Weasel. And it was in that era of, do you remember people would it would be almost like you would put a joke, but it would be like a Facebook page, but you would like the joke. Do you remember that sort of?
Yeah.
It wasn't like I didn't make like this hate group, absolutely not. But it still wasn't very nice, clearly. But it was almost like you made like a status, but it was like a group, and people would like it.
Katie Weasel, I don't know. She finished 7th in the 7th series of the X Factor.
What year was that?
2010, 11. 2010. And then she also got a wee gig on Celebrity Big Brother.
Well, I'm glad that my Facebook page didn't slight her reputation.
Maybe it propelled her to fame. How many likes did your page get, do you know?
God, I think probably within our like circle of friends and maybe slightly beyond, but it never didn't go viral.
Shall I search it on Facebook just now?
Oh God.
Was it I brush or I comb?
I can't remember. I probably brushed.
Nah, it's not there. They probably take down all these inactive groups, don't they?
Yeah. It wasn't a group. It was like a I did not create this hate group.
Bethany, it was a Katie Vassal hate militia, okay?
It was not. Do not get confused. It was like, I can't describe it, but Facebook was very different in 2010. And it was like, it was almost, think of it as more like a status, and people liked it.
I know what you mean. Like, people would make Facebook pages, but like in the title of the page would be something like that awkward moment when something,
Yeah.
and you would like it because it was like a joke. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you've uncovered a memory that I didn't know existed, and now I feel very bad, and I'll probably think about this and I'll have sleepless nights over it. So thank you.
I'm sure Katie Vassal didn't even see it.
But that's not the point. I think it's I guess that's what a lot of trolls think, though, is that they put this kind of stuff out there and they don't think that the person is ever going to read it.
Bethany's past exposed. Secrets of an undercover troll. That's going to be the episode title. Secrets of an undercover troll.
Who told you that?
An anonymous source. I can't name your sources in journalism. Did you make any other Facebook groups?
No. I mean, I might have, if you can remind me. I clearly can't remember.
Yeah, interesting. A little glimpse into Bethany's psyche. Did you ever cyberbully anybody else?
Not to my knowledge.
Right, what have you got for us?
Okay, so we've got a news story here about a girl on TikTok. So she just shared quite an innocent, I think, TikTok about her lockdown weight gain. which I think a lot of people can relate to. So it was quite an innocent, in my opinion, video, and it turns out she was actually getting death threats over this TikTok. I'm not laughing at the death threats, I'm just, laughing at the lunacy of getting death threats over a TikTok video. But our Karen of the week this week is someone who has been relentlessly commenting on this article about this girl on TikTok. So,
So what was it? What was the TikTok briefly? She showed her before and after or something?
Yeah, so she showed a picture of her, I think January 2020, and what she looked like now, with her kind of lockdown weight gain. I don't actually know if he's a man or a woman or what he identifies as, but I'm going to put my neck on the line here and say that this is a man. I don't know, but I'm just confident and put my neck on the line and say that this is a man that's commenting this. We don't have enough time to go through all of his comments because he's been relentlessly commenting on this news article about this girl getting death threats for her TikTok. Article is "No way, woman gets death threats after proudly showing off her lockdown weight gain." This person's commented, "All this millennial claptrap about be who you are, born this way, fit at any size is why Western women are so unhappy. You've got nothing to strive for. All your songs, films, TV programmes and social media seeking virtue send you down a path of least persistence towards a familyless middle age of Merlot-mired mediocrity and with a cacophony of cats." Now go out and do some good with your life instead of getting indignant because someone didn't quote Lady Gaga lyrics at you for a Facebook heart. She looks terrible with the weight, get rid of it. Anyone telling you otherwise is just virtue signalling. Also, if you live your life on Snapchat, don't be surprised if some nutjob sends you nasty words. And that is just like a small clip. It goes on and on and on. I also like that the Lady Gaga lyrics was his only kind of up-to-date pop culture reference.
I know that to me shows that it's somebody over the age of like 40 at least.
Yeah.
Because like they've just picked like a pop star.
And it's a TikTok video and he's going on about Snapchat, so we can kind of safely assume this is probably an older man.
So, I mean, interesting point there. I mean, I don't agree with this thing about you've got nothing to strive for and being like the body positivity messages are the reason why women are unhappy. I think it's probably the other way around, that like, the reason for like a lot of body image problems is like the opposite, like, the magazines with this skinny models on the cover. But I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say that I think there's a really fine line between body positivity and actively promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, because I don't think it's promoting an unhealthy lifestyle by just existing. If, for example, in that video, she's just saying, like, this is my, like, TikTok is like a very short video clip, and she's just saying, a lot of people have put on weight in lockdown for whatever reason. Some people have lost weight, some people gained weight, stress. We're in a global pandemic, etc., etc. I don't think by existing, and I don't even, not talking about this woman specifically because I don't know if she's overweight, but I don't know if just existing as an overweight person is promoting obesity.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
To make like a video of you being overweight and like put it up in like a kind of celebratory tone or like mood could be misconstrued by some people, like particularly in a pandemic where one of the biggest risk factors is you're being overweight and things. Like, okay, people may still go home and like that's fine, I understand that people put on weight for lots of reasons, but as a nation we're all as a nation we're too fat.
We are, and I think separate to that, I think though that part of the reasons that we're too fat is because we have this awful relationship with food and body image.
But as the way forward then to celebrate being big, like this is where I sound like, you know, like a Katie Hopkins character, because like sincerely, like I think it's important that people, you know, feel comfortable in their own skin and don't feel pressured to look, you know, like an impossibly, like an unrealistic, to have an unrealistic standard of what they should look like. But simultaneously, I don't think that people should settle for being overweight, if you
No,
understand what I mean.
I still don't. If you look at fashion magazines, if you look on all the who's popular on social media, it's still this kind of largely, you know, traditionally perfect body. But if you're just talking there about, you know, that we have this massive problem with obesity, that's through years of promoting this kind of skinny, perfect body. So clearly that's not working. So I don't think by just showing that there are other body types is necessarily promoting it. I don't know anyone that wants to be obese or would want to be unhealthy, but it's just you can look at something and see yourself in it rather than seeing this kind of unattainable photoshopped image.
No, you make a good point there. Actually, like yeah, you people have had this image foisted upon them of like, you know, muscles and being skinny, and it's not made a difference. So I suppose a few videos of overweight people also wouldn't make a difference. That's quite a good point.
Yeah.
I never really thought of it that way. Maybe that's the main message of it, isn't it? Is like being at peace with yourself, like in the
Yeah.
way you look. You know what I mean? Like rather than the size that the person is, like the feeling. It's the feeling that they have towards themselves.
I think a lot of people are, and I'm just speaking, you know, anecdotally through people I know and things I've read. I think a lot of people are overweight because they are just so cripplingly unhappy with how they look. And that then, you know, feeds into this horrible cycle of feeling and, you know, eating because you're just so depressed by how you look. And I think it's easy for someone to say, well, just stop eating, move a bit more, a la Katie Hopkins. But it's really, really not that simple. You know, look at all the women who are in diet clubs their whole life. They're looking at pictures of skinny women and told about calories and this and that, but they're the same weight their whole life. Something's clearly not working. So I don't think that showing a picture of someone who's over a size 10 is going to promote obesity.
To be devil's advocate again, like if you're gonna, you know, remove fast food adverts, junk food adverts, and put in a sugar tax and all this kind of thing, like surely the same narrative follows that you want to promote a healthy lifestyle and a healthy idea of, you know, diet and exercise and everything. And of course, body positivity comes into that because that feeds into your mental health, which ultimately affects your physical health. But I just I'm finding it difficult to phrase what I'm trying what I think, which is essentially just that there, as I said at the start, there's a really fine line between like being body positive and like not glorifying, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean, like accepting like obesity or something as like a standard. Because I've watched the TikTok and like that she probably would be classified as obese, looking at her frame and how much weight she's put on. So, and although that's fine because it's been a hard year and she's trying to put other people at ease, like don't worry, like I just think it's like I think maybe what I'm trying to say is it leads to kind of complacency and people say, oh well, ultimately it's just like storing up problems for yourself health wise later in life. But I mean that's I'm just although I am not on this weird old middle-aged guy Karen's side, I I can see both sides of the coin. Like I know that it's, you know, we know it's really bad for you to be overweight, and but we also know that it's really bad for your mental health to put pressure on people about a certain body image. So it is this really really fine line that you just have to kind of pick your way through. I don't know. It's just.
But really what Joseph is saying is that it's all millennial claptrap and this is why Western women are so unhappy.
Claptrap, by the way. So I actually, thinking about that word, I would put this guy's age at over 60 now. We say this every week. Sentence structure.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
I was going to say, like, as much as it's not good to glorify bigger bodies, like, I think it's also quite harmful when you see people on Instagram who, you know, have this like vociferously healthy lifestyle, and like, you know, that they have like their protein oats in the morning, and then they have like they put up pictures of all their meal prep and all this kind of stuff. I think that's way too hardcore as well, and that also is really damaging for people.
Yeah, they promote these what I eat in a day videos, which is like 1,000 calories.
Yeah,
which is that, yeah, to survive on.
Yeah, and it, or like, you know, or their workout routines, or like they take, you know, heavily filtered and posed and like flexed pictures like just after they've worked out, so that it looks like they have a completely different physique. That's also really harmful, and that's also quite damaging. But as with everything in life, everything in moderation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. As someone who grew up reading magazines where there was pages and pages of like celebrities coming out of taxis where they had the tiniest amount of cellulite on their leg, and it would be like a big red circle, you know, arrow pointing to it, like cellulite.
Oh my god, Dot Cotton's joined us.
I know, I don't know. Don't. I'm panicking. I'm very health conscious at the moment.
It's just phlegm. I think it's just your gin and tonic congealing at the back of your throat.
Yeah, growing up reading those kind of magazines in the early to late noughties where, you know, well before the body positivity train emerged from the station, like, it was very bad. There was no diversity. It was all very, very thin. And this was before as well, because how mad is this that you can body image is like trends? So growing up, it was very like you wanted to be very, very, very thin. But
and now it's all about like big boobs, big butt,
very
tiny waist, big hips,
yeah,
big lips.
So just even when you say it like that, the fact that there are like trends when it comes to body image.
What you were saying there about like the magazines, how they used to like circle people's cellulite or like say like talk about their outfits and stuff. I just remember seeing a really, really funny one once, and it was about Ken Barlow from Corrie or something. He was like 80, and they put like a picture. It was like in Daily Mail, like Ken Barlow shows off magnificent pins and salmon pink shorts and stuff in the summer. I was like, we are not honestly sitting here looking at an 80-year-old man's skinny legs. Like, come on.
See, mostly every woman that I know, especially older women that I know, they're just on a diet permanently. You know, they're always, I'm wanting to lose a stone. I want to lose weight. So, and maybe they do need to lose a stone, but it's clearly whatever they're doing isn't working. And the way that we're promoting diet and promoting body image clearly isn't working. So I think we need to try something new. I think if you're happy and comfortable in the way you look, it's easier to be healthy. It's easier to exercise. But I think
somebody also once told me that, you know, there has been a bit of a reset because so many people in this country are obese. I know exactly who told me. At uni, we had a tutorial from like a dietitian or a nutritionist or something like that. Somebody involved in like obesity and things. And essentially what they had was they had 15 or 20 photos of kids and young people, like big laminated photos. And they said, right, here's 15 pictures. I want you to put them, was it either in order of like underweight to overweight, or put them in categories of like underweight, healthy, overweight. And like they actually, you know, we kind of fussed and debated and divvied them all up, and people were like, oh, this is a bit, you know, this isn't very PC and things. But they were like, you know, well, there are, you know, cut-offs for people who are underweight and there are cut-offs for people who are overweight. And afterwards they looked at like how we'd sorted them out, and they were like, actually, all these people that you've put in this kind of normal weight category, there are no underweight people here, and a lot of people you've put in the normal weight category you are actually overweight. So essentially their point was that, you know, there's so much obesity in this country that there's almost been a cultural reset as to what is a normal body and what is overweight and what is obese. So I suppose from that perspective, you could say like, okay, this girl in the TikTok is really proud of her body and she's showing it off, but ultimately, people are like, oh, that's a normal body. There's lots of people that look like that, but in reality, she's overweight. And although we've talked about kind of the negative connotations of people trying to push like skinniness and health and like diets and fasts, and that's all really bad for you as well. But there has to be like a point at where you say that person's overweight and okay, they're happy in their body, but they're still overweight and they need to lose weight.
I think I get what you're saying. When you're cripplingly unhappy with how you look, I think it's almost impossible to lose weight. People who are overweight know they're overweight. You know what you need to do to lose weight. But if you're so cripplingly unhappy with how you look, it almost becomes then impossible because you're too embarrassed to go to the gym. You're too embarrassed. You physically cannot. You've probably got depression. I think being happy with how you look will then coincide with then you being healthier and losing weight. Do you know where I'm coming from?
No, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, if you can accept that, how you look and you're happy with it and you're in a good place mentally.
Generally happy with it, but if you're not then cripplingly depressed and you're not disgusted by how you look, I'm not talking about even acceptance. I'm talking about like just basic not thinking that you are absolutely disgusting, which so many women, men who are overweight think. So I don't think it's necessarily just as simple as saying, don't want to promote this and blah blah blah. But what's my point now?
There's got to be a point that you break that cycle though, when you say, right, okay, although you are unhappy with the way you look, like something needs to happen, you need to do something.
How do we do that then?
I guess it's up to us to sit and flesh it out right now on Wink. Do you remember there used to be that guy on like Sky One, and he would just like go on about like these families of fatties and stuff and all this kind of.
See that?
Like that, we would never get away with that now.
Well, that approach doesn't work. Shaming people into losing weight doesn't work.
No. Well, that's what I want to make very clear. Although I've like sat here and said that there's a fine line between body positivity and health. I also don't agree with fat shaming people. That's not a psychologically not a way to make anybody like. As with anything, like shaming someone and embarrassing someone is not a way to get them on side and get them to feel good and feel positive about change. Like a program, a program like that would just not happen now.
No.
Or even like Gillian McKeith, you RE8. Like that just would not happen. She used to do things like get like gravestones made out of solid chocolate and stuff and put it in the person's like front garden. That's like some kind of weird like mafia threat, like having a horse's head delivered to you.
Something tells me we're not going to solve this one on the podcast. So fill in the blank. Here he is talking about. I can't. See if I showed you the comment. It's very hard to play fill in the blank because they're very.
No, we've got an idea of what he's like. He's very. He's got a decent vocab. Well, quote unquote decent vocab on him. So hit me with it. I'll give him my best shot.
Sentences are very long, so I can't do a short one.
Okay, fill in the multiple blanks.
In among the underachievers who are all too willing to quote piss poor lyrics from some poor millennial music melee, all too. I can't even speak. Right.
I think it's the alliterations making a bit of a tongue twister for you.
In among those underachievers now all too willing to quote piss poor lyrics from some millennial music melee, all too readily reachable from the section of your blank marked just got dumped.
The section of your blank marked what?
Just got dumped.
Section of your phone.
No.
The section of your blank mark just got dumped. The section of your. He's quite old fashioned, isn't he? So like the section of your record collection.
No, but you're on the right line. So these millennials, the underachieving millennials who have a section marked on
Spotify.
bit older than Spotify.
iTunes. I
Do you
don't
know how it
know.
winds?
I don't know. MySpace.
The section of your iPod marked dumped.
Nobody has iPods anymore.
That's what I'm saying is pop culture references are a bit out of date.
It's all his pop culture references are like 10 years out of date. So iPods. I mean, Lady Gaga's not out of date. Don't get me wrong. She was like my number 2 artist last year on Spotify, but his Lady Gaga is probably like the kind of Just Dance and the poker face Lady Gaga, whereas we're now in a different era.
We're a different genre of Lady Gaga now, but he's on Lady Gaga of 10 years ago when you had her on your iPod.
iPod Shuffle. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Remember the iPod Shuffle? Like it was just an MP3 player. It didn't even have a screen.
I know. I had the iPod Classic, the big thick one.
Oh, that was for the true music aficionados. I had an iPod Touch. It was like
I had
it
an
was
iPod
like
Touch too.
revolutionary. It was like a games console and an
Yeah.
iPod, and it had Wi-Fi. It was unbelievable.
So yeah, he thinks that just millennials sit and listen to their just got dumped playlist on their iPod.
That is so funny. He's got such a warped view of the youth.
And of women as well, because we also kind of brushed over the fact that he is he thinks this new kind of body positive movement leads women towards a path of familyless middle age.
Oh yeah, we haven't really gone over his word choice.
Because obviously
Merlot mired middle age. Nobody young drinks Merlot either.
And obviously being familyless is just the worst thing that a woman can be in her middle age.
It's definitely a man. It's definitely a man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mind the sure I said at the start, I don't know, but I'll put my neck on the line and say that it's definitely a man.
Oh, I feel like I do know. I feel like I'm 100% sure.
Only a fucking
It's a
man
guy.
can do that.
Definitely a guy.
I think we're usually very, very aligned. I feel like we may be slightly somewhat removed on this one, but ultimately, I think we both agree that this guy is an asshole.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Both agree. The guy's gone far too far. He's got too much to say about stuff that is none of his business.
Yeah.
But then so have we.
Well, yeah.
So, any plans for the listening of lockdown? What's your landmarks and your milestones? What are you looking forward to?
At the moment, I'm kind of living genuinely like in the day. I'm trying not to kind of think too far ahead because it just is very stressful. And for anyone who's in the same position, I would highly recommend the living a day at a time method. It sounds very severe, but it's actually not that bad. You just don't think too far in the future. So, in answer to your question, not looking forward to a single thing other than what I'm doing tonight, which is watching telly.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you can like and subscribe as always, as we always say. So we're on all the major players, the big hitters: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Acast. I think that's it.
Apple Podcast?
Apple, is that iTunes? Is that the same thing, or is iTunes not called that anymore?
I think you're showing your age there.
Oh God, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
And as always, if you want to get in touch, it's whatisitnowkaren@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram.
Wasn't it?
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week or 2 weeks or 10 days or whenever we fancy it.
Okay, we'll see you in 10 days. Bye.
Ciao. Oh God, we're doing a podcast.